it was a very important game on Monday night for the Patriots to win and set themselves up for a potential playoff run. Along the way, it was rocky. We talked about it yesterday. Mac Jones with more of his outbursts during the game before morphing into Stepford Patriot mode in his post-game remarks. Here's Matt Patricia, the New England de facto offensive coordinator from yesterday, talking about his quarterback's propensity to have a potty mouth during games.
I mean, this is a super passionate game, right? We love this game. We put a lot into it. We work really hard. We care. We're trying to win. So I love all that. All of it is you care. You really care. And Mac and I are, I know he wants to win and he's doing everything he can, just like we all are. And so that stuff's great. I mean, there's never, I don't really look at it from that standpoint. I think everyone's out there trying to just do everything they can to win. I've coached some pretty awesome rooms before. I've been around some pretty great players throughout the years, and those guys had a tremendous passion for the game like Mac. And, you love to see that stuff and you love to see it. And you always just try to make sure you direct it in the way that will help everyone, in those moments get better. And that's the biggest part of it as a coach. But, I've been through some pretty fiery guys now. Don't forget, Teddy Bruschi, Junior Seau, Mike Vrabel, William McGinnis, there's been some great players, and Mac's one of those guys who just loves the game. So I love that.
Yeah, look, I think it's a good complement of personality because Matt Patricia is not a guy who's going to be fiery. I don't know that two guys like that could really coexist. He understands it. The guy's young. He's emotional. You'd rather have that and try to rein it in than to have a guy who's sitting there, half catatonic that you got to shock him into the right mindset to go out there and try to win a very emotional game that requires that level of want, that level of passion. It's harder to put it into a guy than it is to calm it down.
Yeah,
Chris.
Yeah. And I mean, let's not forget the New England Patriots. Last time I checked, the guy we just talked about, the quarterback they had before Mac Jones, Tom Brady, he wasn't exactly like the Zen master on the sidelines, right? So they're used to a little F you, F that, what the F are we doing on the sideline type of talk from their quarterback. And it's not uncommon. It's not. This seems a little more harsh or directed directly at the OC. And with Brady, okay, he might have been doing that, but you were like, well, they're a top 5 offense in football, and he's just mad they didn't go down on every drive of the game and score a touchdown. This is a little more than that, though. And that's where it's a little different. So you love that fire, no doubt, and Matt Patricia's saying all the right things. But, Matt Patricia's in a tough situation. The whole situation's tough on him, too. I don't know if he volunteered for this. But to be where he is tough. And then what do you expect him to say here? They're not going to make this a story or let this be a story, right? They don't want to do that. That doesn't look good on Patricia, Belichick, or anything. So they're going to tell you they love his fire and his passion and all that. But it does seem a little bit more than just yelling on the sideline because we're frustrated. It does seem like it boils closer over to, to the personal side every now and then, or a true frustration with just how things are going from Mac Jones. That's where I think it seems different than your normal outburst by a quarterback on the sideline.
And that, I think, ties into the fact that he was there last year for Josh McDaniels and got that high-level education right out of the gates as a rookie. And now he's in this experimentation phase where you've got guys who were never offensive coaches becoming offensive coaches. And I think that's where the deep-seated frustration is, and that's what bubbles out in those moments.
Right.
Like, this is why I've been upset and disappointed with this approach from day one. And I think that's why it has a little more of an edge to it.
Right. That's what
Chris.
It seems like. Yeah.
It seems a little more personal.
Yeah.
It's not just blowing off steam.
Right.
It's like, man, why do I got to deal with this crap?
Right. And usually when you see quarterbacks blow off steam, like it's like they just yell at kind of everybody. What the F are we doing? We got to get our, crap together, right? That's kind of how it goes. We've seen a few this year where it's like, no, he's looking at one person and he's yelling at that person. And it is real frustration. And then, just little mannerisms, even like you see here, right? He's looking, he's shaking his head, he's yelling. All right, there's the F word. Now he's in his ear here talking, and obviously doesn't like it, and he shoos him away here. Like, yeah, shut up. Like, all right, like he's had enough, right? So that's where we don't see that a lot, and that's where it is a little different than Dan Marino coming off the sideline just mad because he's like, wait, I should be 30 for 40 for 480, and I'm 29 for 37 for threes 95, and I'm pissed. Like, it's different than that. This is like, seems like weeks of boiling over and frustration and everything you talked about, where, man, with McDaniel in my ear, it was smooth and he was giving me clues and the play was right out and he had all these great thoughts, and he probably feels like he's gone back, from like I was in advanced geometry, and now I'm back in like fifth grade math a little bit, and that's where he's probably frustrated.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.